Okay, it turns out that my LED, my green LED that I had in the back fuselage for the rear vertical stabilizer died. And this is a moment where I wish, instead of using the wrapping wire, I had used my magnet wire, because now I don't want to just rip this whole fuselage assembly apart, but it's going to be hard to get in there for the existing positive and negative that are exposed there to splice into it and reconstitute this. I may have to try to remove the landing gear bay, and that would give me a little more leverage on the wires. But I'm really bummed that burned out, because I don't know why it would have, and it makes me kind of suspicious of some of these bulbs that I have. So I'm going to pick one of the others that was not showing quite as much wear and tear on it. I just wish let me see if I can. I'd like to repurpose the resistor if I can, because I don't want to have to go steal one from another one on my packs. I will do that obviously if I have to, but if I can get at this one again and just heat it off of there without breaking anything, then I can just reuse this existing one. But so far it's not going to be a big deal to repair this. I just can't believe that this LED died as quickly as it did. I guess it was just a bum LED. Never had that happen yet with any of my other builds. So I'm hoping this was just the fluke that it looks to be. So it's just slightly annoying, but not deal-breaking by any stretch of the imagination. But boy, this resistor is gonna... I could use the pun and say this resistor is really resisting me here, but that would be kind of silly to go for such an obvious pun. Oh my goodness, come on. Gotta love this heat shrink tubing. It does do its thing. So it's been another good day of teaching. We're still, teaching from home, and I've gotten oh geez, is that gonna... yeah, I'll be able to salvage that. I've gotten used to it. I still don't prefer it. I would rather be there in my class with my students and actually interacting with them and everything. But till we get COVID under control, that's obviously not going to be happening. But apparently they had a board meeting last night, and a lot of parents were there voicing their disgruntlement about how the kids need to get back to school and not be at home anymore. And I appreciate that. I'm a parent too. My kids are home too, learning on the computer. Neither one of them really, strangely enough, neither one of them care. They actually kind of prefer doing it from home. My daughter, though, she misses all of her friends. My son is just kind of, he doesn't really care. He's a junior. But if parents are just wanting a break from their kids, you know, I don't know how I feel about that. I don't really feel a need to get a break from my kids at all. But then again, I'm not a parent whose job is something other than teaching. So I'm going to just have to clip this to repurpose it. And I'll save some of this wire for little short jobs for another build. So what I will do, I'm going to recycle some of this wire I had from earlier, like I talked about. It's always nice to have it ready to go. And then I will splice this to the extant wire there. You know what? I think I'll just move the resistor down, because it doesn't have to be right there on the LED itself. That may make it easier for me to do my splice. And I think I'll do that. Oh my goodness, really? Okay. Okay. So now I won't use tubing on that, I'll just use some electrical tape. Oh, another thing this morning, I almost forgot. One of my freshman students this morning, every Wednesday we have a short day, so all the classes are only 15 minutes long, which is just, it's just so pointless. The idea behind that was it would just be like a check-in, make sure everybody's doing okay and whatnot, and that was kind of understandable back at the start of all this. But you know, then after last semester, when everybody kind of realized, you know, these Wednesdays are just a huge waste of time, they sent a survey around to all of us teachers throughout the whole district, and they asked us, do you want to still do the 15-minute Wednesdays, or do you want to bump it up to like a half hour, 45 minutes, and just alternate the Wednesday, the first half of your classes one Wednesday and the second half of your classes next Wednesday? And I was like, that would totally, you know, be worth it to me. And so we all put it to a vote throughout the district, and oh my God, it's like 60% of the teachers voted to just keep it, these 15-minute things. And I was so annoyed by that, because, you know, to me, not to speak ill of my fellow teachers, but I'm sure that there's obviously 60% of them out there who love the fact that they basically have Wednesday off. And so they wanted to keep it the way it was so that we are done like at 11 o'clock in the morning, and then they have the whole rest of their day to just, you know, do whatever they're gonna do. So I was annoyed by that. But anyway, getting back to what I was going to talk about, one of my freshmen this morning, because on Monday I displayed a couple of the builds I had recently done, my Flying Wing and the Boba Fett Slave 1 that I had done too. And they were all, ooh, ah, that was really cool, Mr. K. And so one of my kids, he wanted to know first thing this morning before we got started on anything after I'd done roll. And he was like, so can you, since you put motors in that one you're working on now, you ever thought about, you know, taking it out flying? And I said, you know, that's a really good question, but with it being a plastic model and the motors not being that powerful, there's no way this thing could actually fly under its own power the way it is. Typically, models that can do that, you're building them out of balsa wood or styrofoam or something, so it's extremely lightweight so that the motors you do get for it can handle the load. I think he was a little disappointed, but he still thought it was all really cool. I guess a lot of kids today aren't really into modeling, and it's too bad, because this was a great hobby for me when I was a kid. I forget exactly when I got into it, but I used to do all kinds of model kits. I never did cars too much. I never really got into cars, but airplanes and spaceships, especially the Star Trek stuff, because I was then and still am a big Star Trek fan. It was just, you know, a nice, fun kind of thing to do. Then you could play with it when you got done, but seems like kids today aren't really getting into it much. Boy, am I going to have to... I really don't want to have to bust that out of there, but I think I'm going to have to. Let me see if I can do this. Yeah, okay. Now I can do that. And that'll hold them while I do it. So I'm going to just strip these real quick. Well, maybe real quick. Oh, come on. Just go with me there. There we go. So, oh, wait a minute. What's this difference going to be? Where's that little piece? Never throw anything away. You never know when it might come in handy. So I'm going to splice the splice. So I'm going to take this little guy. Okay, got you. I'm going to solder you. Okay, And we'll put a little, do I have a little bit of tape? Yes, there we go. Never throw anything away. Except for like actual garbage. That you can definitely throw away. But all these little pieces of tape and stuff from when I cut larger things, and always find a way to use it. Okay, so that's there. And then I'm going to take Mr. Red. Solder you right onto there. Oh, come on. Lay in there. Take up that solder. Really? It's going to make me just twist it on there, aren't you? Not going to just do what I want you to do, are you? Okay, there you go. Finally. Jeez. Rest of this tape here. As long as that is, I can just use all of this for that. Okay. Gotta put just a little bit more on that. Tiny little bit here. Yep. These big clumsy hands of mine. All right, now that one's on. Now you two. So this will be a quick little fix. And I want to test this too. Okay. Now, let me lift this up. Where are my... There they are. Back over there. There we go. Something a little loose in there though. Oh. Okay. So let's... Didn't take to that resistor as well as I thought it would.